Hello guys, this is Susil. Let's talk about today's newspaper, the Hindu newspaper. So let's go to Google and search for the Hindu. Click in the link and go to today's newspaper. So this is the front page, and the first link is about management hardens stance on admission. Management hardens stance about admission. The deadlock over the admission to self-financing engineering colleges in the new academic year continued on Sunday after the management demanded that they should be permitted to admit students in vacant seats under the government merit quota and management category based on the marks scored in the plus 2 examination. The meeting of the association representatives held here asked the government to go by the agreement signed last year, which allowed them to admit students under the management quota from the pre-normalization list for the period of 3 years. K. Sasikumar, president of the association, said the Admission Supervisory Committee of Professional College issued an order last year limiting the provision of admitting students under management quota from the pre-normalization list for 1 year in colleges affiliated to the association, but authorities permitted the college under Catholic Engineering College Association to continue admitting students for the 3 years as per original agreement. This anomaly should be rectified, he said. K.M. Musa, secretary of the association, said that about 18,000 seats had remained vacant in self-financing engineering college last year after many students opted for institution outside the state. Mr. Sasikumar countered the government stance against admitting students who scores negative mark in the entrance examination by stating the Supreme Court had made it clear that students need to only appear the entrance examination. They said the fee for the seat under the government quota in 44 self-financing college would be rupees 75,000 a year. Fee structure: nearly 56 colleges have agreed to fix the fee at 50,000 rupees, while the management would provide a scholarship of rupees 25,000 each of the students seeks admission in seats under the government merit quota. The association representatives will present their demand for before Education Minister C. Ravindranath on Monday. The next segment is Siddharth Maya making it easy for BJP to stage a comeback, said by Sadanand Gowda. Union Law and Justice Minister D.V. Sadanand Gowda has not ruled out early elections to Assembly, stating that minister reshuffled by Chief Minister Siddharth Maya has led to a serious rebellion with a ruling party and now a chaotic situation prevails in the state. Addressing a press conference here on Sunday, Mr. Sadanand Gowda said that Chief Minister should have to blamed for the situation as his directorial functioning and the ill advice given by his coterie of advisors of leading the state towards a total collapse of the rule of law. Although BJP was certain of coming back to power in the state on its own, Mr. Siddharth Maya, Chief Minister of Karnataka, was though through his action making it easy for BJP to come back, he said. Mr. Sadanand Gowda said that instability has set in as there was no mutual trust among the cabinet minister with the dissident activities in the ruling Congress reaching power. The third segment is about to city airport to get advanced air navigation service equipment. Coming April next, Mangaluru International Airport under the Airport Authority of India will provide air navigation service to airplanes with more sophisticated equipment. According to J.T. Radhakrishnan, Director of Airport, modern equipment being installed at the airport now would provide enhanced safe navigation services to fight. The total revamp of air navigation service equipment would cost about 18 crore and the project would complete by March end 2017. The fourth segment is emergency led to Indira's 1977 defeat. Recalling the political turmoil of 1975 in the country, Union Law Minister D.V. Sadananda Gowda took a dig at the former Prime Minister late Indira Gandhi for what he said throttling freedom of expression by imposing emergency. Speaking at a function organized by Kalaburagi district unit of BJP to observe Anti-Emergency Day, here on Sunday, Mr. Sadanand Gowda said that with the imposition of emergency, Mrs. Gandhi tried to keep herself in power. During emergency, Mrs. Gandhi curbed freedom of press and journalistic ethics by imposing censorship on news, restricting them for writing anything against government of the day. Then the next segment is about India among top 3 regions in corruption-linked fraud. An overwhelming 80% of the companies pooled in India said they had been victims of fraud in 2015-16, up to 69% in 2013-14 according to the survey report. The Global Fraud Report 2015-16 by Risk Mitigation Consultancy Kroll with the aid of Economics Intelligence Unit found that perceived prevalence of fraud in India is the third highest among all countries and regions surveyed across 6 continents. Only Colombian 83% and Sub-Saharan African 84% surpass India. The next segment is Sisodia 51 AAP MLA detained outside Prime Minister residence. Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia and 51 other Aam Aadmi Party legislators were detained by the Delhi police on Sunday as they marched towards Prime Minister Narendra Modi official residence 7th Racecourse Road to surrender before him. The police said the MLAs, including minister, were detained for violating prohibitory orders around Prime Minister's residence, a high security area. They were released from the police station within a few hours. The surrender march was carried out by AAP MLA a day after the President Ghazipur Vegetable Market Association submitted a complaint against Mr. Sisodia of intimating business during the official visit. And the next segment is about Luxor ambush lasted only 30 seconds, says CRPF chief. A day after Central Reserve Police Force (CRPF) was attacked by Lashkar-e-Taiba (LET) terrorists in Pampora area of Jammu and Kashmir, CRPF DG K Durga Prasad said the terrorists took only 30 seconds to kill 8 personnel and injure 22 others. Mr. Prasad said on Sunday the force had phone intercept which revealed that the terrorist groups had been planning on attack on security forces for past few days. He said terrorists dressed in black trousers and shirts were dropped off near CRPF bus by the 2 other local militants who drove off in a car. He said the terrorists were not carrying any bag and had unmarked grenades on them. He also said most of CRPF personnel had suffered injuries on the upper part of the body and at least 2 were still on ventilator support. Chief Minister asked Chinese to invest in mining and mineral sector is the next segment. Making a strong pitch for investments in the mineral and mining sectors, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu has exhorted Chinese aluminium manufacturing major Hanjui Dingse Industry Group to invest in new state which offers tremendous potential. The Chief Minister, who is in Tianjin, China, leading a high-level delegation at World Economic Forum meeting, made Hanjui Dingseng Group Chairman Zhou Jiang and senior representatives. The Dingseng Group, engaged in manufacturing of air conditioning aluminum foil, has expressed keenness in investing in the mining and mineral sector in the state. The next segment is about bus fare hike from today in Telangana state. The maiden hike in buses of Telangana State Road Transportation Corporation came into force from the first service of the fleet on Monday. It was estimated to fetch financially beloved corporation rupees 286 crore annually. As the clock ticked past the midnight mark, the computer system from the depots sent out commands to the ticket issue machine, that is TIMS, that every conductor carried automatically, changing the fare structure in the tune with the hike announced earlier on Thursday by Transportation Minister P. Mahendra Reddy. The corporation had dispensed with the issue of printed tickets ever since the TIMS was introduced. The hike is approximately 5% on the rural Pale-Velugu service and up to 10% on the other services. The last time an increase was effected was in November 2013. The TSRTC has outstanding loans of about rupees 2,275 crore, apart from suffering operational losses every day to the tune of rupees 2 crore. In the last fiscal, operational losses were put at rupees 701 crore. Thank you for watching this. Please subscribe the video.